So the next comment and next topic that I wanted to kind of talk about is actually it's to do with football, but it's not specifically about football. So if you hate sports, don't worry, it's not that's not what it's about. But this weekend, actually tomorrow, I think Liverpool FC have the Champions League final. They had the run-up and the final to basically the Premier League last weekend. It must have been, it was on Sunday. And what I wanted to really kind of talk about is that growing up, I grew up in Liverpool, so that's my hometown. My family are actually all Everton fans, so that was my background. So I'm not a Liverpool fan, but the truth is I don't really follow football as much anymore. But one thing that's kind of been true, and actually it's funny that it kind of started to come about 4 years ago, was that when Liverpool switched manager, they brought in this guy from Borussia Dortmund called Jürgen Klopp. I didn't really know much about him. His German background, and actually he's a football manager that had really kind of great success developing players and bringing people through. But what's been really funny over the past kind of 4 or 5 years is the impact he's had, the culture, the belief, and even people outside of his traditional sphere of influence, which is football, just like him, trust him, ask his opinion. And I just think there's some really kind of good leadership lessons to learn from Jurgen Klopp, that even if you can apply this to business or anything, to be honest. And I just thought it was kind of super interesting. If you don't know, so basically Liverpool historically were a very successful football team. They won the Champions League, I think, back in 2005, but actually then didn't really win the league, didn't do anything for quite a while. They brought Jurgen Klopp in, and actually since then the run of trophies and success is huge. And I'm a really big kind of sports fan, but I read a lot of books on winning. There's a guy called Tim Grover that talks about basketball quite a lot, but so much of it is mentality, mindset, and how you take a group of people and really overachieve against the market. And it's not just about the physical attributes of the players. And actually, he's almost exemplified this. A similar example could have been Gareth Southgate. So he was the England manager for the most recent World Cup and Euros. And basically, England have done really well when traditionally they'd struggled. But again, it's his mentality and approach could be similar. I'm just picking Liverpool just because of the events and the game tomorrow and that kind of thing as well. So the first one. Any business leader or any leader in general should have a clear vision for what it is that you want to create. Before he joined the club, basically Jurgen basically said, look, within 4 years, we're going to win the Premier League. And actually to really set up your stall from the start of exactly what you want to achieve, how you want to achieve it, why, is really important to have the clear vision that you want people to get behind. In your own business, why do you do what you do? It's the classic kind of Simon Sinek thing. With the roadmap, I want to change the world in terms of actually business education and accessibility to business education. There will always be better stuff out there from Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge or whatever. But I'm cool with that. What I'm trying to do is help people that otherwise wouldn't have access to that. And that's what I'm trying to do with kind of all of this. But again, the more you have a clear vision that people can kind of buy into, it really, really helps. And it was something that Jurgen did. 2, you really want to live and breathe this. I've seen it firsthand. People that actually do what they say they're going to do, act, and almost act as if and how they want other people to do it. I've also seen business leaders who do the opposite, where basically they talk a good game, they talk about leadership and teamwork and all that stuff, and they're horrible to people. They stab them in the back. They do unethical things. And the truth is, if you're trying to build a really successful team, that approach does not work, of actually treating people badly. The Theranos example of what I've just talked about was exactly that kind of thing, where you might want to sell the dream to the world about changing the world, but actually if you have a culture which everyone hates each other and people are stabbing each other in the back, it's not good. So whatever your vision is for the world, you do have to kind of live and breathe it to make it successful. It's reinforcing trust and belief. No business plan ever goes to plan. You know exactly how you think it's going to go. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things go wrong. You're going to have things take longer. You're going to lose clients. And what will happen over time is that people will start to think, is this plan working? Should we change plan? How does it work? And one of the big things that you need to do is just reinforce trust and belief in the plan and also in people themselves. That again, when you launch a business, it's so difficult that you might have great belief to launch a new cupcake shop because you really believe that your gluten-free cakes are the best in the world and there's a market for it. And for a long time, you might struggle to get traction. And the thing is, you will start to kind of second guess yourself. So actually just having trust and belief in what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it is super important. But the bigger the business and the bigger the team, it's really to make sure that you can instill that trust and belief in other people is kind of super important as well. Number 4. So developing strong connections is super important. That's what I know how bad my writing is, but I don't care. Likewise, one of the big things that they found at Liverpool FC was that when you're dealing with football players or in business, your team, yes, it's important to know about their performance on the pitch and stuff that they want to do, because actually, on paper, that's what you judge them for. But one of the examples that Jürgen Klopp kind of did was that one of his players, I think it was Andy Robinson, had just had a baby. So Jurgen knew that that would be the most important thing in his life, right? At that point, and rightly so. And he was asking Andy about that in terms of, how's the family, whatever. And I think it was on the physios or one of the ground staff didn't know that he just had a baby. And he made the point to say, look, that's the most important thing in that person's life right now. If you don't understand about people's background, what's important to them, have they had family kind of trauma, who are they as a person, what are their values, what do they want to achieve, but really developing strong, deeper connections with people beyond the kind of transactional, can you do this for me, how much does it cost, is really true in business, but it's really kind of true in sport as well, because what that also does is reinforce the trust and belief in you and actually the vision that you want to create. Because actually, so much of it is about relationships and really wanting to fight and work hard. That likewise, the really kind of great businesses that I know, everyone does have, tough times. It just kind of does happen. But when people really kind of buy into it and work hard and they want to do well for the boss, for the manager, that's, how you kind of create high performing teams. It's something that Jurgen's done. And I'm very sure that Pep Guardiola and some of the other kind of really top managers and sports coaches do too. I'm a basketball fan. I love the NBA. So there's a guy called Steve Kerr, who is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, who are one of my teams. And actually, he speaks out a lot about, it was through the high school shooting in America, but he really kind of lives and breathes this ethos and the ethic to really look at wider community issues and really build leaders within his team and the people and what they do, not just win on the basketball court. And I think I rarely kind of buy into that. I try and do that, but actually it's great when you see other people kind of do it as well. And then last one. So that's both to promise big, but actually kind of deliver. You see so many people now that actually they talk the talk. They say, I'm an expert in this or whatever, and they never actually kind of back up and do what they say they're going to do. And it's one of my pet peeves actually, that when you see a lot of people on LinkedIn or whichever, and they talk about how, oh yeah, you should do this to grow your business and this is what you should do, but actually they're not particularly successful themselves. Or one of the ones which I used to laugh at as well is that, as you can imagine, I do quite a lot of video for stuff. And there was a marketing company once said to me, oh, Steve, you should do more video. And I was like, well, actually, I do quite a lot. But I asked them, do you do video? And they were like, oh, no, it's not really our thing. Yeah, we're too busy doing stuff for other people. But when people don't walk the walk, it's, there's so many people out there that are kind of full of shit, and you do see that. So I always have mad respect for anyone that's out there doing stuff to actually kind of create something from scratch, because I know how hard it is. And actually the people that can actually follow through and deliver on that and actually kind of make progress, mega respect for them. But one of the other things that I really kind of loved that was it was the last day of the Premier League on Sunday. Liverpool and City went down to the last, I think, 10 minutes, where City started the day winning the league, then Liverpool were going to win, and then actually City came back and actually won it. But Jurgen Klopp in the interview at the end of the game, because they'd already won 2 trophies this year, they've got another one potentially tomorrow. But he made the point saying, look, if you want to win big, you have to be prepared to lose big, and that's okay. It's almost about having the big ambition that you can't win everything, but actually at least you're going for it, and actually not to treat it as a setback. It's just part of the process. But it's the whole point of, you kind of need to promise big and actually aim big and really inspire people what you want to do. But actually, if you do take the L, if you do lose, own it. That's okay. And actually, that's what great kind of leadership does. I'd love to know in the comments, do you, or who inspires you? What great kind of sports leaders or business leaders do you really kind of want to learn lessons from? I would love to do a case study on them as well. I'd be interested to see, I think, who they're playing tomorrow. Oh, it's Real Madrid. Again, Real Madrid are the most successful club in European football ever, I think. So again, it'll be a tough game, but I guarantee that they'll be going into the game with complete belief that they can win it. And it'll be fascinating to see how it kind of plays out. I will watch it. I'll see you next week how it kind of plays out. But the truth is, win or lose, he's going to have the players back. He's going to, support the team however it kind of plays out. And I kind of love that as well. So my name's Steve Pugh. If you catch this on YouTube or any of the other platforms, please feel free to comment, like and subscribe. And I really appreciate it as well.